keeping you company on your drive home. Brent Doherty, Clay Travis, and Blaine Bishop. 3HL from the sports station, 104.5 The Zone.
KHL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Blaine Bishop, Clay Travis, Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio with us. Kentucky taking on Louisville. How massive is this game, Matt?
It's the biggest game probably in 20 years in Kentucky. It's certainly the biggest Kentucky-Louisville game since they first played the tournament in '83. Before we get started with that, how's my man Blaine Bishop doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, I always enjoy coming on your show, Blaine. But as far as...
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding. But you're right there, too. I mean, it's good to watch y'all carry Clay to the finish line every day.
Okay, there you go.
As far as the UK-U of L game, I think it's going to be really exciting. The state is on edge. Probably the biggest sporting event in the state of Kentucky, even though it's not hosted there, maybe ever. I mean, I've never seen UK and U of L fans so amped up.
All right, let me start out by saying that you are currently driving through the state of Alabama, so if you just magically drop off, that is certainly a possibility, right?
Yeah, well, and just call me back. We've been doing these interviews, and occasionally I drop off, but I think we're in a good part because we're next to Utah, Alabama, and I hear they have good cell service here. So.
Yeah, there are a lot of vowels in that.
Alabama is the only place you can go and drive into Birmingham and actually lose signal. If you're coming from Nashville to Birmingham, for about 20 miles outside of Birmingham, there's no reception. It's a dead spot. Look at any map. It's one of the most ridiculous things about many ridiculous things.
That makes no sense whatsoever, right?
It makes no sense. You would think the city would be the most reliable place.
They have several 100,000 people in that city, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of whom have GEDs. So theoretically, there would be enough people there who could theoretically figure out how to work the cell phone tower.
All right, Matt, Kentucky, 9.5-point favorite. What happens to that? How does that fan base react should they lose to Louisville?
Well, it'll be pretty apocalyptic if they lose to Louisville. I mean, it's, the thing is, it's not just losing to Louisville. If these were two sort of equal Kentucky teams and they were playing and they lost to Louisville, it would be bad, but, that happens. But this is one of the 2 or 3 best Kentucky teams of all time. It's a Louisville team that's good, but by no means great. And you got, Cal hasn't won a title, and this is the year everyone, I think including Cal, thinks is his best chance to lose this year when most Kentucky fans have already started hanging banner number 8 in their head.
Oh.
That would not be good.
If you're a Kentucky fan in Nashville, check Matt out on Twitter at KY Sports Radio and online KentuckySportsRadio.com. Boy.
Man, I guess tell us, what the fan base would be if they won the national title and then, Kentucky that is, and then they pull the banners down in 2 years. Would they care?
That's not going to happen.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just asking the question. I don't know if it happened. I hope it doesn't happen.
That's y'all's wishful thinking. Here's what I'd say.
No, that's not y'all. I just asked a question.
On the crazy chance that were to happen, here's my view about banners getting pulled down. I saw those games. You can tell me that Memphis did not play Kansas in 2008, but I saw it. I watched it. I remember it happening. You can tell me it didn't happen, but I know it did. So, I think you ask the fans at UMass in '96. They remember those games. They're not going to act like it didn't happen. Same thing for the Fab Five. So they aren't going to be vacating any titles, but if they did, hey, I remember when the games were played.
All right, now, I saw that Kentucky's on the cover of SI. Now, what is this, third, fourth time? And Louisville hasn't been on the cover of SI. I was just wondering, do a lot of people in Lexington have the SI cover, taped up to their windows while they're driving down there?
Well, they will. I mean, listen, this is almost a record. I think Kentucky's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. This is the 4th time this season, which is a pretty crazy amount. Wow. They know it's because nowadays, nobody buys Sports Illustrated. Why would you? Everything's online. So their best chance to actually get people to buy it is to make people buy it because of the covers. Put Kentucky on the cover. We're like Pavlov's dog. We'll buy the cover as long as it has a Kentucky player on it. So 4th time in a year, I think they found something that works for them.
Has there been a memo sent out to the School of Kentucky that once they win the national title, that the professors cannot teach class?
It's ridiculous, actually. They're actually not only teaching class, the president of the university, I have been told, sent out an email to professors saying, do not cancel class. You want to know the person who could be on the hottest seat in the entire administration? It's not John Calipari. It's not Mitch Barnhart. Might be new president Eli Capilouto. If he doesn't understand the idea of having class Tuesday, and I've heard college kids telling us that they have tests scheduled for Tuesday. If he doesn't realize that's a bad idea, he may quickly learn it's a bad idea. The city of Lexington will be an absolute zoo if they win this title Monday night. And the idea of going to class the next day is honestly silly. Look, fan bases should unite on they're not going to learn anything in that class they're going to remember, but you know where you are when your team wins the national title.
At KY Sports Radio, Matt Jones.
All right, what I like about this whole process, Matt, is that you have inspired an awful lot of hate from Louisville fans, which I can respect. But what it also means is when they find out you're coming on, they send me all sorts of opposition research. I'm not kidding.
Clay, before you get started, because I know what you're going to say. See, here's what happens with Clay. I like Clay a lot. People think I don't because I'll give him a hard time about his Cal stuff. But here's what I know Clay did. Clay, I heard at the beginning of the show, said he had ammunition to throw at me. And now the thing is, I love Clay, but he's just not smart enough because I already know the ammunition you're going to throw.
Well, then let me read it.
I've already got the response.
All right, you can give your response. Louisville fans say, this is before Cal became the coach. When he's at Memphis, you wrote the following. I am not going to make a post on the subject, but travel in recruiting circles and you won't find anyone who thinks that program, Memphis, is clean. You are free to have any feeling about Calipari you wish, but I am not a fan of his tactics on building a program. That's my opinion, basically. You and I are on the same team. Suddenly, you have switched teams. Why were you wrong then and right now?
A lot of people in life, once they learn new facts and grow up, they change their opinions and they evolve.
How old were you 4 years ago? It's not like you were 8. I mean, 4 years ago, you weren't 8 years old. You were, 28? So now you switched your opinion at 32. I think it's because it's Kentucky. I want to know why your opinion has changed because Cal is now the coach at Kentucky.
If you want to know why my opinion has changed, stop blabbing long enough to hear it.
I asked you your opinion. Why has it changed?
4 years ago, I was a fan. I'm still a fan. But 4 years ago, I was an ignorant fan, kind of like you. And all I did was spit out information because I thought it was a fun thing to do. I would throw barbs at other teams because I thought, hey, that's how I'll make a name for myself. I was jealous, honestly, of the success Memphis was having with John Calipari. We had Billy Gillispie. Billy Gillispie, the drunkest, worst coach in America. And I'm sitting there looking at Memphis and saying, look how good Memphis is and how bad Kentucky is. Kind of like you do daily with Alabama football. You're mad that Tennessee stinks, and so you look at Alabama.
No, the reality is I make a really good living. I win no matter what the score of any game is. My checks don't bounce. If Tennessee wins, I win. If they lose, I win.
At the end of the day, commentators, the way to show you really have a good opinion is to talk about how much money you make. But back to the point.
Which is a lot.
I was jealous of the fact that Memphis was so good, and so I looked at that and said, you know what? John Calipari can't be a better coach than Billy Gillispie. It must be the fact that he cheats. I was wrong. The reason I was wrong is because I do what you do every single day, which is you let your jealousy affect your intelligence.
What do you think I'm jealous of? What would I be jealous of? The state of Kentucky's basketball team?
As a fan, you're clearly jealous. Let's remember on your show 2 years ago, Blaine, Brent, back me up. You remember us sitting at the SEC tournament 2 years ago? You guys remember that?
It's a great picture.
And I said then, I think
Clay Travis literally shaking like a schoolgirl with Kentucky fans yelling at him. And you said,
well, I was shaking because I assume that they're carrying weapons.
You made a bet with me. You said, I'll bet you, I remember the amount, $1,000, that John Calipari will get in trouble and that Bruce Pearl will not. That was basically what you said.
Now, no. This is completely made up. We can go to the audio. What I said was Lane Kiffin was likely cheating, and I believe that my position has remained consistent. Unlike you, who 4 years ago when John Calipari wasn't there, you said, I believe he cheats. Here's a question that I would just like to ask, and I've been consistent on this. I think John Calipari cheats. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. I believe that he will push the envelope and go well beyond the envelope. My question for you is this. You are in Louisville. You know this rivalry very well. If instead of accepting the job at Kentucky, if John Calipari accepts the job at Louisville, would you also have seen the light and said, you know what? John Calipari has not really cheated, even though he's lost 2 Final Four banners, which has never happened in the history of the program and college basketball before. If he was at Louisville and doing the exact same thing that he's doing at Kentucky now, which is getting really good players and winning a lot of games, would you be writing and saying on your radio show and everything else, John Calipari is unfairly maligned. This guy is an absolutely stellar guy. people are giving him an unfair treatment here. He has actually done nothing wrong. Would you be saying that? That's my question.
3 or 4 years ago, if he had gone to Louisville, no. Because 3 or 4 years ago, again, I was the immature Clay.
No, I mean right now, this exact moment. If Louisville and Kentucky are playing, flip it. Yes. Answer the question.
For the Clay Travis monologue, if that's what you want.
Answer the question.
But if you want the answer today, what I would do is what I'd do with Rick Pitino. I would make fun of John Calipari. I would look for every way I could poke a hole in him. But here's what I don't do anymore. I don't call people cheaters unless I know the facts, because
they are cheaters.
Because Calipari taught me a lesson. I was somebody who said, look, Cal is the worst. Then I got to see it, and I was like, wait a minute, I was wrong. So if I was wrong on Cal, I might be wrong on Charlie Strong. 3 years ago, I would have called Charlie Strong a cheater. Now I don't, because I don't have the evidence. You throw information and you throw barbs without evidence.
The evidence is there. He's lost two titles. I mean, he's lost two trips to the Final Four.
Clay, you're allegedly smart. What did he do to lose those 2 titles? Was it cheating and paying players? No. It was a guy.
You believe that there's no way that he could have known that he had players who were ineligible, and there's no way he could have known that he had players who were getting paid while they were on campus by agents.
No,
I completely disagree with that.
That's what you've done. You flipped it, Mr. Lawyer. Do I believe there's no way he could have known? Of course he could have known. Here's what I do believe. No evidence shows he knows. And allegedly in the law, something you and I both used to do, you have to convict someone. You don't have to prove them innocent.
I don't have to convict anyone to have an opinion that he is a cheater. And I mean, I just don't buy the fact. Let me ask you this, Matt. If you were going on the radio in Kentucky right now, and you still had the same opinion that you did 4 years ago, which was Cal is dirty, which you said people were telling you on recruiting circles. That wasn't just your opinion, by the way. That was people, according to what you wrote, telling you. But travel in recruiting circles, and you won't find anyone, you said anyone, who thinks that program is clean. Were you traveling in recruiting circles? Because you're saying it's your opinion. The way you wrote it was people are saying that he cheats.
To be fair, that was probably even 4 years ago exaggerated. I would go to one recruiting tournament a year. I'd talk to the 2 or 3 people there who would talk to me, which wasn't many, and that's what they would say. And a lot of that was the same jealousy you exhibit every day.
Joe, this is a ridiculous thing. I win no matter, we all win. We get to talk about sports and write about sports. No matter.
You're back to you make more money. It's amazing.
It's a great living. I love what I do, so I don't really care if my team wins. What I would love is for you to just admit that you're nervous and jealous and really, really afraid that this title is going to come down like Blaine asked, because the history suggests that when John Calipari goes to the Final Four, those trips don't continue to exist in the record book. We got to go, by the way. We got to take a break. We will come back. Can you hold?
Well, listen, whenever you're done talking, I'm glad to answer your question. You just let me know when that'll be.
We got about 5 more minutes for this. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Matt Jones at KY Sports Radio, KentuckySportsRadio.com.
Let me say this. I like Matt. I think Matt is very smart. I like having him on. I just think he is misguided because I think he's let his Kentucky fandom dictate his changed opinions. He disagrees. He doesn't believe John Calipari has ever been found to proven to be guilty of anything by the NCAA. This is true. These are the two sides of our opinion. We were consistent, at least somewhat. Matt, you are now back from the ravages of the wilds of Alabama. I said before we went to break, I apologize for having to cut you off. I said, Blaine has asked you the question earlier. I said, are you nervous at all that Kentucky could ever have these banners stripped as John Calipari has had the banner stripped before? And your response is?
Look, here's the thing about, I can't tell you for certain what happened with John Calipari at Memphis or UMass. I have no clue, and I don't really know for certain what happens at Kentucky.
No, I was going to say, do you care? That's an interesting question, I think. Do you care? Because I don't. I'll be honest with you. If you told me, and if the jealousy is the angle, I don't believe that. But if you told me, Clay, you can have John Calipari as your head coach at Tennessee right now, and you will have to roll with the potential that you could lose championships and I would still believe that he was cheating at Tennessee, I just wouldn't care. You don't take that position at all, or you do?
As I was saying, all that I'm saying is I don't know. Here's what I do know. I know he's never been proven to have cheated or paid players with anyone, and I find it highly unlikely that he needs to do it at Kentucky. But what I know for certain what I know beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond any doubt, is that Clay Travis in Nashville doesn't know. And so when I see you or hear you with certitude say John Calipari's cheating, John Calipari has worldwide.
Whoa, hold on.
I find it absolutely ignorant because you don't know. You're guessing. Now, if
you do know that his team has cheated, though, right? The team has cheated. You can say John Calipari didn't know as the head of the team.
Marcus Camby hired an agent, and Derrick Rose in high school may or may not have taken a test. That's all I can say because that's all that's been proven.
But the NCAA has proven that those teams cheated, and therefore their Final Fours didn't stand.
The NCAA has proven that those two things I just said happened.
Right, which they're members of the team, right?
Marcus Camby hired an agent, and Derrick Rose may or may not have taken a test. They weren't able to prove one way or the other.
And to be fair, Eric Bledsoe, when he was at Kentucky already, may have, in fact, had a grade change to get eligible. I find it impossible to believe.
That's not true. Listen, do I know? Here's the bottom line, Clay. If you want to build a case, John Calipari's not innocent. You can put all kinds of stuff together. Here's what lawyers and or intelligent people are supposed to do. What can we prove he did? And
I disagree. We're in the opinion business.
Disagree.
We're in the opinion business. My opinion is John Calipari is dirty, and there's plenty of evidence to support that. You disagree because you're a Kentucky fan, and you need to be in favor of John Calipari because people wouldn't listen if you weren't.
Here's what you do. And you don't just do it about Cal. You do it about every team that you can. You throw barbs because why? You just gave your explanation. I win either way. If I'm wrong, so what? I make money, and if I'm right, then I'm right. And so that's fine.
No, I'm in the opinion business. You're saying I'm throwing barbs. I'm in the opinion business. This is what I do. I write opinion columns. I give opinion on the radio. I go on television and I give opinion. We're in the opinion business. If I go out and say, oh, Kentucky won 78-44, that was a great game. Let's talk about Anthony Davis's double-double. Nobody listens. I'm in the opinion business. We're in the opinion business. You have an opinion that John Calipari is clean. I have an opinion that he is dirty. Those are very valid opinions. Your opinion, I think, is wrong. You think mine is wrong. I don't know how you can argue one is more valid than the other.
Your opinion is based on no facts.
The fact is his team his team has twice lost. He's the only coach in the history of college basketball who has twice lost.
Had anything to do with Calipari.
He's the coach, Matt. How can the coach not be responsible for the team losing the banner?
Let me put it a different way, Clay. Let's say Derrick Rose cheated on his SAT. Let's say he did. He wasn't even at Memphis yet. He hadn't even committed.
You don't think the coach, did you watch Blindside? Look at the coaches. They all knew exactly what Michael Orr did to need to do in football to get eligible. He wasn't even a top 100 guy.
I have no notion of what happened with Michael Orr. Look.
Read the book. They know whether the best players are eligible or not.
Here's what we know you do. You do this. This is what you do. And at the end, I will say this, and I like you because at least you were honest. You said, I don't care if I'm right. I make money either way. That's fine, Clay, but you know what that means? To me, your opinion on virtually anything is now invalid.
That is ridiculous. So everybody's opinion on television who goes on and says, I think that Barack Obama is going to be elected, or I think something else. We're in the opinion business. I don't know if I'm going to be right. I believe everything. No, I didn't say that. I said I believe everything that I say. I believe that John Calipari is dirty. That is my opinion. There's plenty of evidence to support it.
You said outcome of games doesn't matter.
I said outcome of games doesn't matter to me. Not whether my opinion is right.
You said, I don't care if I'm right.
No, I didn't.
I win either way.
I said I don't care who wins. I win either way. If Kentucky wins a basketball game, I win. If they lose, I win. I still get to come on here and talk about it every day. I have the best job in America.
Thank you, Matt. We'll do it again, brother.
All right. That's fine, guys. Thanks a lot.
At KY Sports Radio on Twitter.
I root for teams, but the reality is it doesn't really matter that much. We get to come in here and talk. If the Titans win the Super Bowl next year, that's going to be awesome. I want the Titans to win the Super Bowl. But I'm still going to come in the next year and talk about the Tennessee Titans.
I tell people all the time, doing this job takes the specific fan out of you in a lot of cases.
Oh, no doubt.
I root for the
people can see right through it.
Ultimately, we cheer for headlines. And that's what I say all the time. What do you want to happen? The biggest headline.
I think that those quotes, Matt is a really smart guy, but what he has done is he has made Kentucky fans believe that he is the objective one. The reality is he is a Kentucky fan who is smarter than the vast majority of Kentucky fans, making an argument on behalf of John Calipari that he has to make in order to make a living. If he keeps saying, I think John Calipari is dirty, nobody listens to his radio show and nobody reads his site. That's why he changed, because he gets a financial benefit. We haven't even taken hardly any calls today, so let's
do that now. James in Mount Juliet. James, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys, I had to call in. While y'all were on the phone with that nut from Kentucky, that was the best entertainment. I love watching syndicated shows, but they ain't one that would touch that. And, Clay, if you would do me just one little favor, the next time you and your wife get in an argument, would you audio tape it so I could learn how to get one over on her? I know that's got to be prime entertainment there. I mean, that was awesome. Y'all need to play that again so people that didn't hear it, because, I mean, that was just beautiful. And y'all have a good
one. By the way, you don't win the arguments at home, though.
I defer to my wife. It's like it's got the rope-a-dope. You got to take a lot of abuse, bam, 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 and then you try to come back with the response.
This might
that's true for all of us. Right?
This might surprise a lot of the 3HL crew. I don't know that I've ever seen you argue with anyone off the air, and I've never seen you upset, really.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't get riled up. You know, I like Matt. He's just such a UK homer that, and let's be honest, he's probably the smartest Kentucky fan there is. But if even the smartest Kentucky fan is willing to buy into the idea that John Calipari is some like pristine paragon of virtue that has never done anything wrong, I mean,
he can't do what he does and have the other opinion.
Right, that's exactly right. So,
well, he's employed by Kentucky then, right?
Some kind of, yeah.
Might as well be. Kentucky's fan base.
So, well, that says it all.
I just love that quote. Louisville fans sent it to me. I mean, I don't pay that much attention to it, but when you say 4 years ago that people tell you, again, it's not an opinion, people tell me, but travel in recruiting circles and you won't find anyone who thinks that program is clean, and then they become your coach and you flip their script completely, you're clearly doing it for your own benefit. It's not because you actually believe it.
Mike in Shelbyville. Mike, what's up?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, yeah, I called about the debate too, man. It was some good entertainment. It reminded me of that part on Minister Society when he got caught, and I was just waiting on Clay to be like, you messed up, right? You know? Yeah, Clay, you did the thing, man. I just had to call you and let you know, man. You did the thing.
I appreciate that, Mike.
No doubt.
Thank you, Mike. Jay and Hermitage. Hey, Jay, what's up?
What's up, fellas? Hey, man, I need to preface my statement by saying I am not a Kentucky fan at all. I'm actually a Duke fan, which makes this even more probably strange that I'm about to say this. But I actually am on this other guy's side, man. I don't know how in the world you can hold John Calipari personally responsible.
Because he's the
Derrick
coach.
Rose cheating on this test.
Because he knew, dude. He knows exactly what score every one of these top basketball recruits needs to get. And they fly all the way across the country, and it happens everywhere. Look at the guys that he got in at Memphis. I mean, the dude
Or you take the position, I don't want to know anything.
Or he's
Y'all
just
take
completely, I mean, the guy, Jay, has never lost, and you can take that side. Look, I mean, Kentucky fans do take that side. You can take the side that it's a complete coincidence that the NCAA, which has never stripped 2 Final Four appearances in the history of college basketball, has done it to the same guy twice.
But let's look at the circumstances behind the strip. Marcus Camby win is even more asinine than the Derrick Rose win. Marcus Camby hires an agent. He hires the agent, I think it was like February, March, like the season was already over. They were going into the tournament. Marcus Camby hires an agent, and the NCAA, which is just another example of their ridiculousness, comes back. They strip them all, the Final Fours and all that. They take all the wins away. To me, I'm in banking. It would be like, to me, if you manage a branch and one of your tellers steals some money. I can't see how you can hold the manager at the branch personally responsible, like we're holding Calipari personally responsible for Marcus Camby taking the money and hiring an agent.
Oh, you got to be on top of it. He only has 15 guys to follow. I mean, and it's not, let's be honest, it's not the bad players that are going to hire agents. You really only need to keep tabs on the 2 or the 3 best players on the team. How many other first-round picks were on that Memphis team, that UMass team? I mean, I think it's an interesting question, but to me, you're being paid millions of dollars to know. These guys are control freaks. They know everything about their programs. I just don't buy that, and this, by the way, is only time.
Or it's probably safer to not want to know. I mean, there is that possibility.
I just find it hard to believe that he didn't know.
Me too.
Yeah.
Now, and I just think it's
because it happened twice. I know 2 different style of incidents.
It's already happened at Kentucky where Eric Bledsoe had a grade change, the one grade that he needed to get changed so that he could become eligible at Kentucky.
I'd
You don't
forgotten
think-
about
I
that
mean,
story. Did he move schools too?
He also moved schools. I mean,
But they got out of that one.
They got out of that one.
Well, they got out of all of them.
I mean, but
But
it's-
he just moved chicken now.
I'm not even saying, my position is this. If you're a Kentucky fan, I don't have any issues with you saying, look, I think the dude cheats. I think he's or he's pushing the envelope and beyond the envelope, but it's worth it to me. If he wins and he's not getting caught, I'll take it. That's a very valid position.
that's
And
a
that's
true
what I
thing,
said.
yeah.
I said, look, if John Calipari was coaching at Tennessee right now and he'd had the same recruits and everything was going on, I would come on this radio and I would say, I don't think he's clean. I don't believe that he's completely clean, but until he gets caught, I'm okay with it. That's different than saying he hasn't done anything that would make you believe that he has done something wrong.
Well, I mean, a lot of these coaches are pushing it past the envelope. Now, let's just admit that.
Oh, I think the system is fundamentally broken. I don't agree with the NCAA rules.
It's him, it's everybody.
Either. But I
at
think
that elite level.
he is past beyond the pale. I think a lot of other coaches look at John Calipari and say, this guy's not pretending that he's doing something that he's not. I mean, the World Wide West connections, everything else. It's one of the biggest fallacies, I think, in athletics is good recruiter. Everybody works their ass off to recruit, especially in college basketball. Do you think John Calipari works harder than Bruce Pearl worked or works harder than Roy Williams
I
worked?
think some guys are better at it than others. Just like salespeople.
But a little bit, yeah.
I think John Calipari could sell anything.
But better
just being
in the
around
sense
it.
that you can get the number 1, number 3, and number 5 players in the same class.
Well, that was just one time, though.
Oh, but he's done it.
He can roll your dice every now
He's
and
got
then.
more first-year players already than Coach K has had in his entire career.
Where do you think he'll be tonight? I think he'll be at the McDonald's All-American game tonight.
Coach Cal?
Maybe. Never know.
What's today's day? Today's Wednesday. I bet they're already down there, right? Would you want to get your team down there early a couple days?
I don't know. I know I've been
Doesn't mean you
flying.
don't fly out.
That's how you get number 1, number 3, and number 5.
College football coaches.
Hey, the head coach showed up. What other head coaches are here?
Everybody. Look at like the boy, the guy who got recruited here that was such a huge recruit, Poitras. Going to those Clarksville gyms, every top college coach in America was in there watching him play.
The Kentucky fans are on their feet. They're almost there. Siva nowhere to go. Curick the floater. Davis the rebound. And that's going to do it. The University of Kentucky will go to the national championship game.